I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to tell you about my new book, The Moats Theory of Life. If you haven't picked up a copy yet, I strongly encourage you to. This book not only is a fun read, but it's a guide to helping you become a person of impact and inspiration. If you are ready to take the next step to improving not only your life, but those around you as well, go get a copy of The Moats Theory of Life, and it's available at moatstheory.com. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, bro?
My brother. Shout out to, is that the Irvin?
This is Dr. J.
Yeah.
Yes, it is
man.
Dr. J.
Like that. That's dope, man. Shout out to the Sixers. And that's the old school one, so I like that.
Yeah.
That's clean, bro.
No problem, man. No problem.
I like that, man.
You know what? So you're seeing these jerseys, and this is just the epitome of me. I bought these just because I had ideas and projects in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Whether it was flipping them or, making videos about them. So you've seen me make some videos on doing like a jersey review and that player in that time period. So right now I have a bunch of jerseys at my house, and I haven't flipped them. They're still there. Yeah. I haven't sold them yet. I haven't got around to it. I've been lazy. So now I'm wearing them, I guess, for the podcast. So I have some more. Some of them are my sizes because, like I said, I was just trying to flip them. But the ones that are my sizes, I guess I'm wearing them, and maybe I'll make it a thing for the podcast.
I like it, man. Because it is a fashion statement, bro, and that's the thing. Like when you come up here on camera, man, you think about the amount of people that are viewing this stuff, man. Like it's a statement, man. You see me? I'm very strategic on what I wear. Shout out to the homie Nolak, Jerry, in the building, man. You know how we do.
Southside down on Carson. Check them out when this whole coronavirus stuff is over. Or just go on the website, Nolak Nation.
Yeah, always got some heat to put on, man. Shoot. But that's dope, man.
It's just kind of the epitome of me. I got this idea, and then it just kind of falls through. But then there's some good things that come out of it. Right?
I like it, man.
So yeah, that's like kind of why I'm rocking the jerseys, and I thought it was a good style move. So
no, that's clean, man. That's clean. But man, speaking of just throwbacks in general, man, we had a great throwback guest on today, man. Cat named Dan Beatty played center at the Ohio State University, man, from 1987 to 1990. Was all Big Ten center, academic all Big Ten, played with the Redskins. This dude, man, he's in the PPE, which is the personal protective equipment industry that you're hearing everybody talk about with the masks and gloves and things like that. We had him on for a dope interview, so you're definitely going to want to hear that. You're going to enjoy it, man. And he has some funny stories, man, just hearing about some of the guys he played with at Ohio State.
Yeah, you got a combo of everything. You got the kind of the stuff that's going on with the coronavirus because he's in that industry, so he's kind of giving you the lowdown there, but then also some Ohio State stories, some football stories. He played with, we talked
Chris
about
Carter.
Carter, Hershey. So he's got some
Joey
stuff on
Galloway,
them too. So
Robert Smith, like the list goes on and on, man.
It was pretty dope.
Definitely was, man. So you definitely want to tune into that, man. That's going to be fun, man. But, man, we had some big Steeler news this week, man.
I wanted to say real quick.
What's up?
We were contemplating recording this podcast before the draft.
We were, yes.
Just because the draft's tonight. I mean, how much news is really going to change from Monday when we first recorded till now? And a lot has happened.
It definitely has. So shout out to the fact that we stuck to the script because, yeah, man, we had some gems. So first off, Bud Dupree, he recently signed his franchise tag yesterday, man. So big shout out to him for that. I personally was glad to see that for a couple of reasons. Traditionally, when people are franchise tagged, they either go about it two ways. They either sign it right away, or they're going to wait till training camp, maybe the first week of the season to sign it, just because that's their only sense of having power in that situation from a negotiation standpoint. So understanding that element and seeing how much time had surpassed since he had been tagged, there were questions in terms of if he would sign it, when he would sign it, and things on that nature. Obviously, I didn't think that it would go the Le'Veon Bell route where he wouldn't sign it at all and sit out, but you just didn't really know when he was going to come back. But seeing him sign that tag, I thought it was good because understanding the uncertainty of everything that's going on right now with the COVID-19 situation, training is going to be altered a lot. So in terms of what he does on his own time could potentially be impacted. Also, man, when you think about the training camp setting, it's no guarantee that that's going to happen in a traditional format this year either, or preseason games. So I think then him staying ahead of it and go ahead and signing that tag, it takes a lot of the gray areas out for him as a person. You know, he's making sure that, hey, my money is going to be secured. Also from a health and benefit standpoint, all that's secured as well too, because now you don't have to worry about if you get sick or if you get hurt because you're not under contract, you technically don't have those resources right now. But for him, he's going to have all that. So I thought that was a very, very smart move on his behalf. And I think all the Steelers Nation could take an exhale and know that, hey, he's going to be here.
Yeah. And you don't got to worry about the holdouts or anything like that. Now, I have a question. We talked about the whole training camp being non-traditional. So there was a report that came out yesterday with, I think, about Sean Payton and the Saints, how they're going to be handling it. They're not doing virtual workouts. They're kind of letting players off on their own, right? Unless I read.
No,
that's how it is, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's, I mean, what are we trying to do here with these virtual workouts? Let's just, hey, look, players, you be on your own and you can figure it out yourself. I mean, there's definitely an element lost in the whole, the Zoom thing. So why not just focus on and lock in on what you're doing?
I think this is the biggest concern I have with that.
Really?
So for me personally, I'm all for, I've never liked doing the organized workouts with other people. Like tell you,
and I think the virtual thing just takes up a next level. It's like, come on.
Well, so let me get into this real quick. So for me, I've always been a guy that said, I don't need anybody to motivate me. If I need to be motivated, then I don't need to have this job. I don't need to have this opportunity. I've always been a guy that could work on my own. I mean, I tell people all the time, throughout my 9-year career, 7 of those years, I worked out by myself. I didn't want a partner. In fact, I would intentionally be busy doing the workout times of like the guys that want to work out together. Hey, can we work out at noon? Nah, I can't do it at noon. I'm free at 3. Oh, can we work out at 6? Nah, I can't, man. I got to go in the morning. Oh, you going at 9? Oh, I'm actually got to go at 6 a.m. Like, just because I didn't want to work out with anyone, I always looked at it like, if
hold me back.
Right. I either said you're going to hold me back or I'm going to give you too much and now you're potentially going to be my competition. So that was kind of like my mindset. Then as I got older, I kind of transitioned and was like, look, man, it's more about if I can make the guys around me better, that's going to make my chances of winning the championship a lot better also. And that was kind of the approach I took at the end of my career. But the reason why I say it's risky is this. With the whole purpose of the OTAs is this. If you're trying to get in shape during OTAs, you're already behind the 8 ball because they're not long enough. The whole purpose of OTAs, though, is to have the camaraderie. It's having guys in there together, fellowshipping, getting around each other, building that rapport, because we talk about all the time. You always hear me say chemistry. If you don't have that chemistry with the guy, you're not going to go to bat as hard as, think about me and you, right? We'll support each other so much more now because we have a chemistry or rapport versus if we just only see each other when it's time to work. We never talk. We never have conversations outside of this. We're not going to have that same, hey, I'm going to go to bat for this guy or not.
Yeah.
It's not the same element. And that's kind of what you try to accomplish with the OTAs. So with the whole Zoom element, it's less about guys trying to get in shape because we would always say, I feel like I'm getting held back when I go to OTAs because I work out harder on my own. These workouts are custom for a team. When I work with my guy, it's custom for me. You know what I mean? So that's like the difference in it. So the whole Zoom element is strictly just to get the guys together, getting them feeling like, hey, man, all right, even though I can't be there with you physically, I'm still with you. Like I can see you. I can talk with you. We both know these workouts are easy. We both know that we're going to have to do another workout by ourselves after this, which the guys who want to last in this profession, you do. Because it's never going to be hard enough for you. And it's never going to, if that workout that the team has for you is hard, then you're probably out of shape. You probably haven't done anything since the season ended. So that's why I always say it's less about the actual working out and more so just about, hey, I'm here, you're here, we're in this together. Regardless if it's easy or not, we're here together. And that's the whole purpose of it.
What about, because like Brady and Gronk, they're going to be working out together, or he's probably going to have some of those receivers down there with him. What about just in person, like the, small groups?
Well, hold on, say that again. What you mean?
Like, and just in person, you know what I mean? As opposed to the whole like Zoom route, where you have the position groups kind of getting together. The reason why
it has to be Zoom is because they're technically like the NFL teams aren't allowed to have players in their facilities right now, period. And that's the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking from a player perspective.
Well, this is the thing too, though. So it's easy to sit here and we say, well, hey, man, I'm sure these guys are going to get together, but it's no guarantee that guys are willing to risk their health right now to join up with some guys to work out, because we talked about this multiple times. If there's no vaccine,
Yeah,
all you're doing
I
is
just
opening
assume
yourself
everyone
up and
has the same
exposing
mentality
yourself.
as me.
Yeah, I mean, but I say this: you see Von Miller, right? And you see how his whole tone has changed on the situation.
What was he like joking about?
Well, I'm not going to go into him personally like that, but you could just see how he's talking about it now that he has the virus. So I'm sure it was multiple people that thought the same thing in terms of, man, I'm not opposed to working out with other guys, but it's all fun and games until one of those guys in that small circle get it. And now you realize that I've exposed myself to it and I've exposed my family to it and my children to it and my grandparents to it. Now you feel in a different type of way about it. So that's the only thing, man. You can't say that they're just gonna, it's guaranteed that these guys are gonna go in small groups, because not everybody's willing to commit to that. The same way not everybody is willing to commit to, hey, let's still play games with no fans. Let's lock us all over here somewhere by ourselves, because you're still exposed. Until there's a vaccine, what are you doing right now?
There's something missing in the Zoom thing versus like the in-person. I guess
it's always going to be something missing in that. And that's the difference between when they say, hey, would you rather text somebody or talk to them on the phone, or would you rather just meet with them in person? It's always going to be that difference in that regard. But what they're trying to do is, hey, if we can't get this 10 being, hey, if we're all here together, it's a 10, we're clicking. If we can't get 10, well, at least like get 5. If we do Zoom, that's half of it. We can get 5, okay. But if we don't do the Zoom, now we're sitting at 0. Now nobody's talking to nobody, because I know everybody likes to think that the locker room, everybody's close. That's not how it works.
It is.
Man.
It's just what I'm assuming.
Yeah,
like, why isn't
not
that
how it works,
why
bro.
isn't that camaraderie just happening just naturally?
It does not happen like that, bro. Like, you'll have your guys that you really like, click with, you rock with, and you'll talk with them. But the rest of the guys, you're not really talking to them like that. You might not even follow them on social media, to be honest about it. And this is real. It's guys that you'll be teammates with for multiple years, and you've never liked the picture or even commented or followed them or anything. It's just the dynamic of it, man. That's how it is.
Yeah.
But when you have to have guys coming into the same building every day, you're going to naturally get a relationship with these guys. You're going to naturally get close regardless of the outside influences. But if I didn't have to come into the building every day, you think I'm going to get as close as I would with a lineman, for example, or the backup receiver, backup running back, that, hey, I have no need to really have conversations with them. But when we're in the building together and all our lockers are just intertwined together, well, now we're going to naturally, just because we're around each other, we're going to get close. And that's what you try to accomplish with the Zoom meetings. That's what you try to accomplish with the traditional OTAs. And that's why even when you look at the training camp setting, if you look at, and this is behind the scenes, the way the dorm rooms are set up and the way the locker rooms are set up, they don't do it by position group. They don't say, hey, all linebackers are here, all jersey numbers are here, all guys are here. They literally mix everyone in it together. So, for example, when I first came to Pittsburgh, and they ended up, we would share suites. So I was on one side, Darius Hayward-Bay was on another side. Then they brought Josh Harris, the young running back. They threw him in when, like, it was like the last week of training camp. Because I had the extra bed in there, they put him in the room with me. But in my locker room for training camp, it literally was me, Big Ben, Pouncey, Marcus Gilbert, DeCastro, Al, Cam Hayward, Lawrence Timmons. Like, you see just a mix of everybody in. AB was in there.
Got some legends.
AB was in there. Marcus Wheaton was in there. Sammy Coates was in there. Like, it was just everybody. Big Dan, like, just, and that was only in our section, because I think it was 5 locker rooms that we have when we were at St. Vincent. And that's how you just mix it up. So that way it's like, hey, you're not just going to sit here and just talk to your guys only. And all our lockers are just mixed up just like that. And literally you walk in, it's like, oh, I'm seeing this guy every day. We're complaining about training camp every day. We're sitting here before practice and after practice every day together. So you're going to naturally get close. And that's the whole purpose of that type of stuff. So that's why it's like, when you see them trying to do the Zoom meetings and stuff, that's the whole like mentality with it of, man, these guys aren't naturally going to talk. I mean, you think about the different upbringings, you think about the different financial statuses.
There's just going to be too much distractions trying to get all this stuff set up. And
the reason why I don't is this, because when you're football players are,
how's that going to work? Like, are you going to be like 10, 12 feet away from the Zoom camera and doing your...
So this is the thing, man, the way the workouts work, because you have to think, you're not outside. Some guys will be outside, but most of the time, like, the workouts are built for you to be inside, in your house, right? Like in a room no bigger than a bedroom. So the Zoom meeting is strictly set up for that, and they teach you everything you want to do or instruct you everything you want to do to get a quality workout, because you got to think.
So the coach is just watching from his library in his house.
No. This is the thing though. When you do the Zoom workouts, you're not with Coach Tommy, you're with the strength coach. Okay. So the strength coach is going to have his workout stuff and going through the workouts with you. Like during OTAs, you don't see like Coach Tomlin and the position coaches until you're on the practice field for practice.
Okay.
In fact, there's rules that they can't even come out there. You can't see them at all. So you're literally just with the strength coach, and he's the one who's taking you through every workout, teaching you, okay, this is what you can do here. Now, this is the stuff we're going to use, but hey, when you're at home, there's other things you need to do, because it's all about training the right way. For guys that say, oh man, anybody can train. Are you on YouTube if you want to? Some people are training to be bodybuilders. Some people train to be marathon runners. Some people train to be swimmers. Football training is specific to football. So it's important that your coach is teaching you football related stuff. You see what I mean? So you can't just assume that, oh man, everybody's going to get it, because not everybody knows that. And think about the different college programs, right? If you're coming from a big time SEC school, okay, cool. But what about the smaller guys, the small school guys who might not have that type of funding, who might have a jankier position, strength coach who doesn't really know all this stuff? So that's why it's important that, hey, you're setting them up with a foundation, a baseline of, hey, these are the type of exercises you need to be doing. These are the type of things that are going to help you get ready. Stuff. Right. And it's not just a foregone thing. So to just assume that these guys, especially young guys, are just, hey man, they're good, man. Yeah. Go figure out a workout on your own. Go figure out somewhere to go. I know you don't have any cardio equipment. I don't have any weights, but figure it out on your own. Like, nah, the coaches are there. The strength coaches there, particularly in these Zoom meetings, to educate these guys on how to accomplish a workout in the house, and not just a workout, like football specific training, and it's going to be efficient for you. That's the whole purpose of that.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for enlightening me. Man. There's still something about the Zoom and all. It just doesn't sit right with me. Nah. But still,
it's cool, man.
Just dude, this is outside of football. Yeah. So like, you're bringing Zoom into my football world now. I'm like, man, come on.
You just don't like change,
huh?
That's all that is. You do not like change. You are set in your ways, bro.
I don't know about that.
You kind of like that old lady that just, I walk this route every day to go to the grocery store. I don't want to go on the other side. I want to go this way. I sit in my rocking chair and I drink my lemonade every day with 4 ice cubes. I don't want 5 ice. Why does it have to be 5 ice cubes? That's who you are. You don't like any type of change, bro.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe.
It's crazy.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't like Zoom meetings right now.
I bet you my friends would agree with me. Or with you, I'm sorry. No, they would. I mean, my friends make fun of me, yes.
Bro, you are setting your way.
I have just stuff that my takes or opinions, they kind of just don't make sense.
I'd rather be no Zoom meeting. I don't care if the guys aren't prepared for football. Don't worry about it.
They do at the same time. There's an element there that's people get. They're like, nah, I kind of get what he's saying there. Zoom and football, it doesn't match. It just doesn't. Nah, it's not. It doesn't.
I'm not following you, because even before Zoom meetings became popular, it was still plenty of times where I was either traveling and I have to talk to my strength coach, and I'm like, hey, I need you to drop me a workout, and I need videos of how to do it.
Doing a full meeting.
But this is like, I think you get caught up in the word meeting. It's not a traditional meeting. They call it Zoom meeting, just how it flows off. But it's no different than just FaceTiming a guy right now. And he's going to talk to you and tell you how to accomplish something.
Just real quick, though. I mean,
why are you rushing it? This is the thing. I like people like you. You know why? Because Coach Tom has a saying for people like you. You ready for this? He would always say this: we don't get paid by the hour. So for the people that come in here and they're always like, hey, man, this is going to be real quick. How long is it going to take? Can I get this done? Those people that traditionally don't last.
No,
seriously. And this is why.
The actual work, I'm not saying be quick.
You know why?
The FaceTime element.
You know why?
Get it out of the way.
Because the faster you go through that, you don't get the instruction the right way. Now you're wasting time. And another saying we would have is this: you need to work smarter, not harder. Meaning this: if you want to just breeze through the instructions part and figure it out on your own, you're going to waste 2 and 3 reps easily trying to figure it out. When if you would have just listened and taken time on the front end, you would have been done a lot sooner on the back end.
Perhaps.
No, not perhaps. I've seen it, man. 9 years. I saw it firsthand plenty of times. Guys like you, man, like, man, are we done with these instructions? Dude, I don't want to do the warm up. Are we done with this? And then they get out there like, hey, how I do this again? Can you show me this right here? And it's like, dude, we just went through this. If you took your time, you'd have been fine.
You know who's in my mind is AB and Tom Brady. These guys are working. They're doing it all on their own. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's how it should be done, right? And
you don't think AB takes plenty of time getting the instructions before he goes out there to work out? You don't think? In fact, I've seen AB be one of the last guys to actually start the workout And not because of like a tardiness or anything like that, just because he's making sure that he goes through his warm up exactly. And that's the thing that when I tell you all the time, like people see great players and think, oh, they're doing exceptional things right now. No, he's a fundamentalist. This dude, man, when I'm telling you in terms of a high knee run or a butt kick or this, and you watch how he's just mechanical with his arm action, you're like, bro, I'm lazy over here with it. Like, and I don't even want to do this. And you just see everything in line, everything in order. And that's the difference, man. So it's guys like them two in particular that back this up. They are the ones that are going to make sure that every detail, tell me everything. I need to know this, and this. So now when I go out there, I'm playing so fast, not even thinking about it.
I guess it's the Zoom element that's disturbing to me.
You're funny, bro.
It's either, well, all right, if you're going to do the Zoom, just don't tell me about it. That's the thing. Don't advertise it like it's some
I thought you want to know stuff, though, right?
Huh?
I thought you like to know stuff.
Not that type of stuff.
So if OTAs are going on right now, you would want to know, hey, man,
I don't.
Who's showing up to OTAs, who's not showing up to OTAs?
I don't want to hear that you're doing the Zoom thing. You're all technologically. I don't want to hear all that.
People want to know.
I don't want to hear it. I just don't.
So you want to hear when they throw out a, hey man, football will be back in July, football will be back in June. You want to hear that? You want to hear that, even though that's factually highly inaccurate. But just you want to hear that versus when they tell you something that is accurate, that hey, we're doing our workouts and this is how we're doing it. We're using the Zoom element.
I don't want to hear about Zoom.
Now you don't want to hear about it.
I just don't want to hear about Zoom.
You're funny, bro.
I just don't.
You're funny.
I just don't.
You're funny.
I like the in-person element. There's something about Zoom I just don't like and all that stuff.
Hey, you know what? At the end of the day,
people doing virtual hangouts and these virtual cocktails and happy hour.
At the end of the day, it's a good thing that you're not a Geo. That's all I'm believing. All right,
dude. I was thinking that more and more.
Holy cow! Holy cow, man!
Something happened, and I was thinking that. Oh yeah. It was the Patriots. I mean, this is a good segue.
Yes.
The Patriots trade with Gronkowski. Because
he said, "Man, I would rather not trade Gronk at all, and we just go sit here and just, yeah."
I mean, there's an element. So there's a lot to this trade, actually.
And for those that don't know,
as weird as it sounds, it's a really simple trade, but there's a lot at play here.
And so for the people that don't know, Gronk was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was Gronk and a 7th round pick for the Buccaneers' 4th round pick.
Yeah.
And some people felt that the Bucs drastically fleeced the Patriots. Other people thought that the Patriots did fine. I thought it was a win-win-win on all the courts.
Nah, the Bucs fleeced them, dude. I mean, Gronk. I mean, so we talked about this too, because people are firing out right now that Gronk's overrated. He's washed. He doesn't have it anymore. Gronk is, I think he's a top 3 tight end right now after Kittle and Kelsey.
I'm not opposed to it.
Is there someone you're taking over him?
You can throw Ertz in the conversation.
Okay, yeah, he's top 5. Let's just say
definitely top 5.
Lockdown top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 tight end, and you got him for a 4th rounder, and he already has that connection with Brady. He's just lethal. He's a mismatch problem. He's top 5 right now, being away from the game. I mean, if he stays healthy and he gets cooking again, he's going to be the best in the game again.
Yeah, but I think this is where we differ.
For a 4th rounder, come on.
This is where we differ, and I think we talked about this a little bit as well off camera. There are a lot of variables with this Gronk trade. First off, Gronk was retired for a whole season.
Yes.
Secondly, Gronk has been beat up his whole career.
I'm getting from that is he's healthy now.
Okay, cool. He could be healthy now, but he's still been beat up. And he does have a very decorated injury past, meaning when we talk Big Ben, how many 16-game seasons has been played? We talked about it. Not a lot. Okay. So same concept with Gronk. How many 16-game seasons has Gronk played? Not a lot. He misses a ton of time. So all of that kind of plays into this thing. But what I was telling you is this, man. In terms of who had the most leverage in this thing, it was Gronk. Gronk said he wanted to play, but Gronk said, I'm only going to play for Tampa. So you can either, if you're the Patriots, you can either play hardball, not trade me. Okay, cool. But you're not getting anything out of this.
I feel like he wanted to play a little bit more than...
Okay, so why did he sit out a whole year then? If he wanted to play that bad.
I just don't think he wanted to be in New England.
Exactly.
I think he did need to recover a little bit,
but this is the thing. He didn't want to be in New England. So his thing was this. If you're not going to trade me to Tampa and you're not going to trade me at all, period, then I'll just never come back. I'm fine with that. And he already flirted.
I think deep down he wanted to play with Brady.
And you know why I know for a fact is because he already had hinted to this. Remember a couple years when they were going to trade him to Detroit. And he said, I'll retire now. If you're not going to send me where I want to go, if I can't play where I want to play, I'll retire. So he's already threatened this before. So he's already shown that I'm not afraid to go through with this either. And that's why I said he had leverage the whole time, because it was nothing that the Patriots could say to him that was going to change his mind. He's already proven that multiple occasions now.
Did you hear in his interview, though? He said even if Brady stayed in New England, he'd want to come back.
Well, okay. He says that now after the fact.
I just think I think he had an itch to come back and play.
It's easy to say it after the fact. That's all I'm saying. It's easy to say it after the fact. Where was all this beforehand? They even asked him multiple times this all season. Hey, you coming back? Man, I'm good.
You can't show your hand that early.
All I'm saying is this, man. He had the most leverage. So for you to say that the Patriots should have tried to get more, what leverage did the Patriots have? That's what I'm asking you.
Just not letting him play. That's what
I'm saying. How's that leverage? Because you either going to get something or you're going to sit there with nothing.
Yeah,
right now, the Patriots had zero. They had zero. So by trading Gronk, you at least get something. You get a fourth round.
There's a connection to Gronk and there's a connection to Brady. All of a sudden, the Patriots and the Bucs are linked now. So there's a warfare going on between those two teams. So you don't want to give the other team weapons. You want to prove that, hey, we're the better organization. We're better than Tom. And
I don't understand though. Like, how do you make your organization better without acquiring assets? Because what asset would the Patriots have acquired if they don't make the trade?
I think giving a top 5 tight end though for a fourth rounder,
who was retired and has a very, very decorated injury past.
I'm just assuming he's going to be healthy though.
It's easy to assume that, and we always say I'm assuming he's healthy, but healthy can be your healthy week 1. How many 16 game seasons has he played? That's what I'm asking you.
I just think they could have got more.
In a perfect world, sure, you can hardball and try to get more, but if they didn't have leverage, how are you going to fuss for more?
I mean, I will give you two. It could be a little bit time sensitive just because the draft's coming up.
Yeah.
Today, literally.
Right.
So having that fourth round pick with the draft going on could be an asset.
This is my thing. How are you getting leverage out of this situation if you're the Patriots?
Just by holding him.
By holding him, but this is what I'm saying. If he's on
here's the problem.
Wait a minute. This is what
because it has nothing to do with the Patriots. It's just trying to withhold good things from Brady. It's not. It has nothing to do with the Patriots getting better.
So that's why I'm not following you right now.
This is why I was like, I don't know if I'd be the best GM because it's. There's this grudge going on. There's this grudge going on between Belichick and Brady that is going on in my mind, which probably isn't even there.
I was about to say, who even made this up?
I mean, the media people, yes.
And we follow media. That's what we're doing now.
I mean, I don't know. There's some hints that Brady and Belichick are cool. There's some people that are saying they're not. I don't know. Brady's interview with Stern, I mean, he did kind of lay out that, I'm still cool with Belichick. I'm grateful.
So if you hear from the horse's mouth, you don't believe that. You'd rather hear the naysayers and the debaters.
The other way.
Why?
It's more fun.
For who?
Because, I mean, Brady...
Who likes that?
It's just fun, man.
Like, what?
It's just fun.
I'd rather just go with the guy that, if he's directly in the situation, if he says it, I'm taking his word for it. I don't care what nobody else says.
It could be a little PR from his side, too. I mean, you're not going to go outright and say, like, yeah, Belichick screwed me.
Why not?
You're just not going to say that.
Why not? Has that not been said before? Players have said it before.
It's just not wise. It's just not.
Why? It's Tom Brady. How is that going to affect Tom Brady negatively in any way, shape, or form?
He's definitely got an edge. He's got an uphold of Tom Brady. I'm Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's allowed to do what he wants. It's Tom Brady. And that's been proven. It's definitely been proven.
He's never done anything like that, though. He's always been...
All right, now.
What do you mean?
All right, now.
What?
We're not going to get into... we're going to get into it.
What?
You say that, but for a fact, Tom Brady is in his own world. Because just throwing these two little examples out here, right?
Oh, okay.
So when AB was having a situation, right?
Okay.
Every time they would talk about AB's negatives, they would bring up, man, he got multiple baby mothers and different kids and stuff, right? In his whole career for Brady, he's had... So he got two baby mothers as well. And they never speak of that negatively and never speak on how,
wait, that's not on Brady.
No, yeah.
What do you mean?
Because they always talk about how AB got baby mothers. Everybody got this. I'm just saying.
That's the media.
Brady's still allowed to do what he wants in terms of no one has ever brought that up negatively on Brady. Okay. Whereas with AB, that's a go-to.
Well, that's just dumb
But no.
That's dumb on the public and the media.
You just said media is more fun that way, right? Huh? People eat it up though.
No,
they
not
love
that shit. Not that shit.
But it just shows that it's a difference in terms of
that's different between football. Brady and Belichick.
This is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you.
That's different.
When I tell you Brady can do what he wants, Not saying that it's negative or anything. He could just do what he wants. It's not going to ever have a negative effect on him. Whereas for anyone else, you have to be cognizant of that. You have to worry about that. We even talked about how the different dynamic between, even with Ben and AB, right? How Ben can do certain things and he's never going to be viewed negatively for it. Yeah, whereas AB, you look at what he has done compared to other people and they hype this up so much more. It's just different. So when I tell you, it doesn't matter if Brady wanted to say something negative about Belichick, he could have, and nobody was going to say anything. In fact, people would back him for that.
Probably.
Not probably. It would be. We know this. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if Brady says, I don't have an issue with this, man,
maybe I
don't look at it as PR because what does Brady have to lose? If anything, they're going to love Brady more for calling Belichick out. They would. You know that. Because it's a different set of rules for Brady. It's a different set of rules for quarterbacks in general. True. And when you are Brady on top of that, you can do it and say whatever you want and nobody's going to have an issue with you because you're Brady.
Yeah, I get your point. I definitely think the personal stuff, though, is separate from the football player versus coach.
You think that, which is crazy because I would not think that you would think that because media-wise, all that blends together. And we see it every day.
No, I definitely think it's separate.
They blend it all together.
Wouldn't you think it's separate? It should be separate.
Listen, it's plenty of things that we don't agree on. And it's plenty of things that me and media don't agree on. But that's always been something that it doesn't matter.
No, that's how it is.
They're going to do it. It is what it is.
I don't agree with you. Like, are you with me?
I'm just saying
that stuff should be separate.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to say I agree with you because it's a lot of things that I just don't agree upon with that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like media wise, like how you just said, man, I would much rather hear the other side of it because it's more fun to think that, hey, man, they are beefing than listen to this guy. You see what I mean? Like when you just said when Brady was on the Howard Stern interview, right? You said you would much rather hear and think about the media people creating that drama of those two guys having a beef, even though you know for a fact Brady just said, I don't have an issue with that man.
I get what you're saying. No. All right, here's my thing. As a consumer, no, there's layers to this. As a consumer, it's because it makes things fun to talk about, speculate, even listen to. Me,
not for me. I'm not gonna lie. I turn it off.
Here's the okay. Well, here's the problem.
But negativity does so. We know that.
Yeah. Here's the problem too with that. I guess I know that when I'm listening to it too, it is just like fun and speculation. It's talk. It's entertainment. Where I don't know how much the people that are saying this stuff are being serious and more focused on. I got to get this out. I'm focused on my. See, that's kind of the problem with me.
What you mean?
Like, I mean, that is a problem. Like, that's not something I would be seeking to do.
That's where we differ. Like I said, man, I hate speculations. I ain't gonna lie. I hate them. I'm not a speculation guy. Because I know how dangerous that can be. See, when you just speculate and it's reckless speculation.
This is gonna sound,
it's dangerous, man.
If I say that I'm not speculation either, that doesn't even make sense.
Not at all.
But there's a blend. Like, I'm not too serious about it though. Whereas,
well, for every one person that's not too serious, there's another 100 that they take it as gospel.
Like, I have
it's
fun
dangerous.
With it.
It's dangerous though.
Yeah,
very dangerous, man. It's no, like we say it all the time, man. A person could spread one lie about a person. It'll go around the world. What they say 2 times before the truth gets around there once, man. So when you speculate and it's reckless, and somebody just says that, and all these people take it as gospel. Now, before you know, you done villainize the person or blackball this person for no reason whatsoever. We saw it even with Kaepernick. Remember with Kaepernick, he said, "This is why I'm protesting. This is why I'm taking the knee." And then the media took that and changed it to this narrative. Oh, it's military. It's this. It's the flag. It's the country. That thing went around 3-4 times before you ever got the message out.
Right.
All because of just, hey, man, we're going to speculate and make it this. We're just going to turn it into that. We're going to say with this. And it's dangerous. That's why for me, man, I don't go down that path, man. I don't even like to joke about it because that's dangerous, man. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Been the victim of it.
Yeah, I guess that's another scenario. I guess I just see that I don't take with the lightness that I would just of football type of stuff. You know what I mean? Nah. But I get
because they blend that all together, man.
Listen, those are good points you brought up.
Yeah. But it's never just football and personal.
I get what you're saying.
It's never that. It's always they blend all of it together. And then when they want to make it where, hey, I'm tired of hearing your voice, now it's just, hey, man, just keep it at football. Just stick to that football thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they bring up this, and this. So that's why if you're Brady, if he wanted to say anything about that, or that, He could, and they would applaud him for it. He would never be viewed negatively for it because there's plenty of people that, as a whole, dislike Belichick more than they dislike Brady.
Right.
Plenty of people. So if Brady, the golden boy, if he ever said anything about Belichick, people would rally behind Brady for that.
Yeah.
Because people can't stand Belichick. They can't.
Right.
A lot of people love Tom Brady. A lot of people respect Tom Brady. Even if they don't necessarily love him, they respect him. Whereas with Belichick, you see how he comes off to the media, just so demeanor. Like, people just don't vibe with him.
Yeah.
And that's the whole issue with that, man.
Okay. So if I was the GM though, still.
That would be terrible, man.
What?
It'd be terrible if you were the GM, man.
Yeah, because I would definitely be holding Gronk back from going to the Bucs and just trying to show
being spiteful to Gronk and Brady, but hurting your team in the process.
Yeah, it's like holding what do they say, a grain of salt or a grain of sand. Like, I just think I could have got more.
I personally think he was lucky to get the fourth.
Really?
What leverage did you have?
Me. I thought he would at least get OJ Howard.
Why? If you're Tampa, why am I giving up all that? He wants to be here, but I don't need him. Like you said, I got OJ Howard. I have weapons. Brady signed here because he saw what we already had. So I never felt the need that I gotta go and get this. I have to go and make him happy. No, he's already good. But I will say this. Hey, if he already said he wants to be here. So I'll throw you this. They probably didn't. I guarantee they didn't start with a fourth.
There's definitely something. I was thinking this the other day too. There's definitely something to be said from working or operating. Because this could even be a little life lesson here. Yeah. Working or operating from a place of abundance versus scarcity.
Yeah.
Where the Bucs are, it's house money.
Good. Yeah.
If you're working from a place of scarcity, I need a tight end. I need a tight end. I need a tight end.
That changes everything.
It does.
And when you look at the Patriots, we already talked, man. Are they comfortable with Jarrett Stidham as their quarterback, or are they going to try to make a move? Are they going to try to make some trades on draft day to potentially move up to get a quarterback? The more assets you have, the more availability you have to make those type of moves. So for them, they're looking at that 4th round pick like, okay, cool. But I'm sure the way the negotiation probably went was, all right, Gronk wants to get traded to Tampa. We want a 2nd round pick. Tampa says, we'll give you a 5th round pick. Hey, man, we want a 3rd round pick. All right, we'll go to a 4th round pick. All right, cool. That works right there. That's how it goes. Let's be real. The deal that you see on TV is not how the deal started. They didn't just call him and say, hey, we'll give you Gronk. I'll give you a 4th. All right, great. It's a great deal. Let's do it. No, it's give and take. So they probably did ask for a 1st round or a 2nd round here. But Tampa knew, hey, man, we got the leverage in this thing. So we're going to offer you a 5th or a 6th. You're not taking that? Okay, cool. We ain't going to give it to you all day. All right, wait a minute. All right, let's talk. Okay. What if you give us a 4th and we give you Gronk in a 7th? That work? All right, I guess so. That works. Like that, I'm telling you. So for you to just say I'm gonna play hardball with him, that's not the case, man. It's not how it works.
Well, here's another thing I will say. For this could be, I guess, showing Belichick's sentiment on him moving on and what he thinks about Brady and Gronk and just Tampa in general. For him to give Gronk up like that quick, he's just thinking, all right, whatever,
But this is the thing. You act like Belichick has ever felt I have to keep certain players. We talk about how Belichick is the king of
Dude,
that.
it's been 20.
But don't act like through the 20 years he wasn't trying to get rid of Brady. He's been trying to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what, and he been trying to get rid of Gronk.
But for that little though, it's just
he already tried to get rid of both of those guys.
Yeah, but he would have got some major compensation at the time for them.
This is the thing. He doesn't care about players like he will get rid of anybody. And there's plenty of times we've seen guys come off with great seasons and he gets rid of them. He's like, I'm not tripping. That's Belichick.
Moss, Welker.
Right. Even we had a guy when we were in Buffalo, Mark Anderson. He played for New England. He ended up having 13 sacks the year they lost in the Super Bowl. 13 sacks. It's like, let him walk. I'm not tripping on that. Like, he doesn't care. That's his whole thing, man. Like, he's going to find guys in the draft. He's going to find veteran players that are going to come in, fit the scheme, and he's going to have success. That's what he does. So I think you and a lot of fans, man, y'all hold a lot more weight in, man, this guy really values this play. He would never give them up. And it's like
the worth of player. Dude, I mean, I was
he's been trying to get rid of these guys before.
Well, I was shocked when AB went for a 3rd rounder. Like that was crazy to me.
It's different, man.
No, it definitely, I was thinking, man, he should be at least worth like a 1st rounder and give us some more picks. But yeah, I guess situations dictate that more.
Who has the leverage? Contracts. If you're Oakland, going back to the AB situation, I don't need to go first because I know for a fact AB doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He wants to go.
He's wilding out.
So either they're going to cut him and I can get him for the low, or I'm going to offer this 3rd round pick and we're going to make moves that way. But hey, for a fact, he's going to be gone. So the Steelers have no leverage. So the Steelers can either...
Were they going to send... Was it Buffalo for like a 4th or 5th rounder? Yes.
So it was like you're either going to cut him and walk away with nothing, or you're going to at least trade him and get something in return. That's the whole name of the game. You either could leave with nothing or you could leave with something. You see it all the time in the NBA too, right? Hey, man, they're going to trade this guy last year of his contract. He's probably not going to re-sign. They're going to trade him for some picks. Like, that's the name of the game. You trade him for whatever you can get and you roll with it that way, because otherwise you're going to get stuck with nothing. And now you've not only lost a crazy talented person, but now you don't even have nothing to compensate for that. And now you're going to hope that a comp pick is going to do justice. No, come on, baby. No.
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting just to see how the Patriots play out, because I mentioned this in the past with people my age and having Ben as our quarterback. We don't know anything else. And it's kind of the same thing with the Patriots. I mean, there's talk about, Belichick, he's got this great system, but I haven't seen him do it with any other quarterback outside of Brady. Obviously, Castle that 1 year, but sustained success and being able to really prove it like that. Because he had his stint with the Browns. He kind of turned them around, but then they fired him. And then he was all over the place with Parcells after that. And then he finally got a shot with New England. And Brady's been the guy. So I'll be interested just to see how that all plays out and see if he is. I mean, I'm sure he knows more than me about
just a little bit, right? Just a little bit more.
Speaking of getting rid of someone or someone leaving and not getting anything in return.
You working on it?
What?
Your transition game.
That wasn't bad, huh? That wasn't bad. That was savvy.
I quit that to like you trying to learn the parallel park and you tap the rim a little bit. I hit the curve. I got it in. I ain't hit the other car. I just popped the curve.
I hate parallel parking. We mentioned it on the podcast actually about the Steelers, moving up to get one of these elite receivers.
Correct.
And we said, hey, JuJu would probably have to be involved, and we're like, let's not worry about that. But yesterday, there was some tweets firing out that the Steelers were talking with the 49ers about one of their first-round picks, and JuJu would be involved. And then there's another report that comes out a little later saying these reports are just completely false, that this isn't going to happen. Now, I don't know what to ask here. Are we?
I think
because
I was going to clarify a little bit more too. So it started out like this, man. 49ers reached out to the Steelers about potentially acquiring JuJu in a trade. Steelers responded back from what we read in terms of what they were willing to offer. It would have been one of their first round picks, the 13th pick or the 31st pick. And then from there, reports came out that the Steelers weren't interested in trading JuJu. And we all know how that typically goes. I
mentioned to you is that where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right. And I always laugh because you get these people that want to get on social media and act like they know everything. Man, this is a rumor. No one would believe this. Da da da. And I'm like, all they simply said was there was a conversation. And that definitely, you didn't see anything leak about a TJ Watt conversation. You didn't see any James Conner conversation. There was no Big Ben conversation. So a conversation definitely happened. That's the only reason why that leaks like that, first off. But to act like this is so far-fetched, I mean, it was a time people didn't believe AB would be traded. Remember that? It's plenty of times when people don't think, oh, man, this guy would never get traded. This never would happen. If the deal is right, a deal will be made, regardless if it was with the Niners or anybody else. So I always laugh when people just try to act like they know everything. Like they're super plugged in.
Who leaks that? 49ers probably?
It could be a mix. 49ers. It could be somebody on the Steelers side that wanted to let people know that, hey, a conversation has been made about JuJu.
Like, don't be too shocked.
Right. Well, not in this sense. In the sense of this. Say I know the 49ers aren't going to give me their 13th round pick. Their 13th pick in the draft. But say it's a team that's sitting at like 19. And now they see, well, hey, man, the Niners reached out. Dang, but all right. Well, at least they had a conversation. All right, so you know what? Yeah, what's up, man? We got the 20th pick. How you feel about that? Now, if you're the Steelers, okay, I want the 13th pick. I can't get the 13th pick for JuJu, right? That's too high. They ain't gonna give it to me. 31st pick, man, that's too low. That's like a second rounder, basically. But now this dude called with the 20th pick. all right, you got my ear. Let's talk.
This receiver is available right now.
That's all I'm saying, man. So in that regard, that's why I always tell people, I'm like, I just find it funny because I feel like that's some of the up and coming media personnel. That's their way of kind of trying to pump their chest to make them feel like they know everything. Like, man, that's not happening, bro. You're crazy, man. That's all false. And if you're listening to it, you're tripping. You're crazy. It's like, no, bro. You don't understand. It's a lot that goes into these things. That could be the initial, let's get this on the radar, but the play is over here the whole time. But if we go right there right now, I don't have any leverage. If I go right here right now, I tip my hand to everybody out here. So it's like, nah, because also if I tip my hand to them, well, what about the person that's behind me that's picking at, a little bit later that want that pick right there? Well, now they know, okay, if they're looking at this guy, well, I got that guy for him. It's a lot that goes into it, and it's not as simple as what people try to make it. But of course, when you're trying to make yourself sound smarter than what you might be, that's the way they go about it. Man, that's a lot. Why are you crazy? That conversation ain't happened. Oh, that's false. Like, okay. It's funny. I didn't see any Cam Hayward rumors pop up either. Huh? I mean, who's doing this?
Well, the thing that we can say is, I mean, it would make sense just from an organizational standpoint. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we both love JuJu, and we would love to see him come back and bounce back. But there's no guarantees he's going to be here after next season, correct, depending on how everything plays out with this season.
And more importantly, from a contract standpoint, because I think that's like the underlying thing. He has 1 year left on this deal.
And he's probably going to get double digits in free agency.
Yeah, and you have to think, man, for him, this is the whole debate when it comes to the contract situation. He's going to want to get paid number one receiver money. He's going to point to my stats. Look at what I did. If you're the organization, you're saying, I'm not paying you number one money. I wouldn't pay you number two receiver money, because even though you have those numbers, when you had the opportunity to be a number one receiver, you didn't produce.
That's why this year's big.
Right. Then his argument is, well, look at my quarterback situation. Well, then their argument is, if you're number one receiver, it shouldn't matter. And that's going to be the whole pull in the ebb and flow of that negotiation. So if you're the organization and you feel like, hey, man, I might not be able to get this deal done, kind of what we just talked about with the whole Patriots and Gronk situation. You want to leave empty-handed and hope for a comp pick? Mm-hmm. Or do you want to control the narrative and get ahead of this thing and get what you can get for him in terms of the most assets you can get for him?
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing, is he probably does have, I don't know if most value would be fair, but I mean, if you can get a first rounder for him right now,
that's huge.
Because, well, here's the thing. If you keep him and either way, it's going to be a tough scenario, because if he does go off, paying him that much money, think of how many other players we have on the defense that got to get paid.
I mean, because now we're talking about it'll be not next year, well, a year from now, but you're going to be looking at TJ, Minka,
Cam
getting extension. How much? I got to see what Steven Nelson, how many years left on his. Yeah, but because, they always want to do the negotiations where you got 1 year left on the deal. They never want to get to that last year of the deal. So there's a lot that goes into that, man. So
that's it. So what's the trade-off? Do you think someone could come in, one of these receivers in this deep receiver class can come in and replace JuJu's production, and then you got him on a rookie deal for 4 years?
And then you're also, I think in that conversation, if you're the organization, you'll be banking on the fact that, hey, if we got Ben, that's going to help elevate the play of this young receiver. You also saw what Deontay Johnson did last year with those same quarterbacks. You have to expect his play to elevate, and you're hoping that James Washington can continue.
James Washington at over 700 yards. Yeah,
if he can continue to keep going in that direction. So that's the whole play of this thing. And I mean, that's just the nature of the business. That's how it goes, man. You're trying to maximize what you can get for these players. Now, I think for the longest time, especially this season, the whole debate was, is JuJu worth a first round pick or not? Because I think that's been the biggest coin flip. Some people think that he is worth a first round pick. Some people don't think he's worth a first round pick. Some people look at what Stephon Diggs got from Buffalo and they say, well, man, JuJu has to get that. But the argument that I always see is this, man. Diggs did it with Thielen on the other side. Thielen isn't AB, whereas JuJu's best seasons were with AB. So it's like, is JuJu that by himself, or is he a product of AB? And that was the difference. Whereas with Diggs ain't had to go out there and be a man. He'd have had his chance. He had a chance to prove himself, which is why he garnered what he garnered.
Yeah, and there's 32 teams. So there's probably something that JuJu would fit better in their system as a team, right? The way he does receivers. So maybe 49ers is one of those teams. I don't know what you could say to that just in terms of JuJu's play style with the 49ers offensive system, if that's something like they're looking at and how he kind of goes across the middle and he could run after the catch, and I don't know. But yeah, maybe there are like just a couple teams that value JuJu that way, and that's kind of all you need.
I mean, because with their offense, the 49ers in particular, we talk about that West Coast style offense, a lot of crossing routes and things like that. It does benefit guys that necessarily don't have the top flight speed to just blow by you or have elite level route running that gets them the ball early, 5-10 yards, and now they're able to make something happen after the catch. We all see that's JuJu's game. How often have we seen JuJu just flat out blow by somebody or just run a crazy route? No, his biggest plays are when he gets the ball early, makes a guy miss, and then he just takes off. Like, that's his game. So when you look at that, the 49ers, there is a fit there. And that's why you can see them valuing him where they value him. But like you said,
they lost Emmanuel Sanders,
right? But and they do have Deebo Samuel coming back next year, and they still have George Kittle out there. They still got the running backs out there.
They're looking for that receiver too.
Yeah. So the thing though with them is like, if you get up a 31st pick for JuJu, that's a great deal for you, the Niners, because you still got 13th pick. You can do whatever you want to do with that. And we talk about some of the receivers that are in this draft that are available. They're going to be available during that range.
Would we be happy then getting like Justin Jefferson at that point? I think T. Higgins.
Even a Jerry Jeudy might still be available in that 13 range. Like,
I don't know how that's happened, to be honest with you. He was
crazy.
He was the top receiver the whole year. Yeah. Now all of a sudden the other two dudes, Ruggs and Lamb, are ahead of him. I don't know how.
But even like I said, all of that's right in that range, man. So you never know. And imagine if you're the Steelers, right? And you really
4 years on a rookie deal,
right? And if you're the Steelers, and you're so hungry, say you're the Steelers and you're super hungry, right, to move up to get one of those guys, and you got the 13th pick. Couldn't you package one of these other draft picks and move up a couple more spots if you really said, hey, you know what? I like Jeudy, but I want this guy right here. He's gonna be at 10. I can move up 3 spots now. So all of those things factor into it. So that's why I was saying, man, when I saw them talking about the reports are completely false, I'm like, don't think it's completely false. Like, I mean, we're not saying that it's gonna happen.
No,
but
it makes sense.
But to just act as if, oh man, this is so outlandish, it's not. It makes a ton of sense.
Because the Steelers could just completely not do anything, and then we could draft a receiver in the second round, running back third round, something like that. Where all right, you have your receiver in the second round, that would be the 4th receiver coming into camp. And then you let JuJu walk next year, and hopefully that receiver steps up, and then you have Deontay probably as your number 1, James Washington.
And then you hope that you more than likely bank on getting a comp pick for the JuJu walking away, but that's a whole nother year later.
I mean, kind of what we've been doing all along the past 10 years with just receivers, Mike Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders, how they've been able to kind of rotate through them and still have elite play on the field. So I guess it's crazy because we love JuJu here, but then it's at the same time it makes sense from an organizational standpoint.
And it all goes back to the business element of it, man. Like, I think there's a different conversation if JuJu still had a highly productive season last year. I think the conversation is they're going to pay him regardless. He's a priority. But I think because of the fact that was his audition to show that he was a number 1 receiver, regardless of the fact that he dealt with injuries, regardless of the fact that he had to deal with the carousel at quarterback, the numbers were the numbers and the impact wasn't felt the way it was. And then you still saw some of the negative parts of his game in terms of the drops, in terms of the ball security. You still would see some of that popping up. So that's all the things that when you're sitting down having these tough business conversations that they point to that gets brought up. And that's some of the reasons why the situation is what it is in terms of would they trade him or wouldn't they trade him? And going back to the Stephon Diggs thing, remember, he first said he wanted to get traded. Then he was like, all right, I don't want to get traded. Then the Vikings were like, we're not trading him. He's good. And then what happens? Trade. And we see this.
I mean, we've heard it all offseason and season that Diggs was not going to get traded.
We see it all the time. So that's why I always laugh when people are like, man, it's never happening. You're crazy. This is false. Like, don't even give it time. I'm like, okay. So where there's smoke, there's usually fire.
Basically, what we're saying is this could be an interesting night, even though the Steelers aren't officially drafting right now.
Yeah, man, it definitely could be. and regardless of what happens tonight, if he doesn't get moved, just how the rest of this season plays out in terms of do they try to get a deal done with him before training camp? Because their policy, they don't negotiate during season, and we saw with Bud how that backfired on them.
So this is why you're bringing up him trying to get paid as a top receiver, because I'm thinking in the back of my mind, all right, you're going to have a year to prove that, But right now, if they're going to do negotiations,
they're going to do it now.
Okay, I get what you're saying. And he's only had one season without AB, and it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. So for them,
because he could have this year to actually prove that.
Right, but once you go through this season and you ball out,
that's what I mean. It's a tough scenario. Then this is what I said earlier for the Steelers
situation for the Steelers. If JuJu balls out this year,
I guess we could tag him.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Now you go back into that carousel of, all right, do we tag him? Do we not tag him? Do we franchise tag him or do we? Well, you can't transition tag anymore. So do you franchise tag him or no tag? Now, if we tag him, is he going to sign the tag right away? Or are we going to have to deal with that whole debacle of he doesn't want to be here, he does want to be here, he's not showing up for the offseason workouts? Like, what's going on? So that's the other element, the other side of that. So if you're the player, you want to get this deal done. If you're going to get signed, you want to get it signed before training camp. Because once the season starts, you're not getting negotiated. It's not going to have a negotiation with you. And then once the season's over, imagine if you're JuJu and you ball out and you prove that, hey, man, I'm a number one receiver. And they're like, we're not paying you right now. We're going to tag you. You lose out. Think about Bud Dupree. We talked about if Bud could have hit the market, he would have won. He would have got crazy money. We talked about what Hargrave got versus what Bud got on a tag. He would have got crazy money. But they control the narrative. They control his leverage right here. So they say, we'll just tag you. We're not worrying about paying you right now. So even though you're hot right now, you're not going to get that money. We're going to tag you. And then, hey, man, do it again. And if you can't do it again, well, now you're losing on free agency. And same with JuJu. It's like, hey, you can get your chance right now. All right. You bought out. Cool. We'll tag you. Now, also, you factor in the fact Ben's a little bit older. Okay. How does the rest of the roster shape up? Okay. And now all of that plays into it. So now say on his franchise tag year, JuJu doesn't have the same type of year, same type of productivity. All right, now you could go out there and see what you can get. Yeah, that's the whole element of it, man.
Yep.
Good old business, baby.
Yep. A lot popping right now.
It is, man.
I'm excited for tonight.
That's going to be fun, man. Absolutely.
I definitely am. You know what's funny? It's going to be all on Zoom, huh?
You don't like Zoom, so you probably won't even watch the draft, huh?
That's why I'm just in the back.
You're just a big contradiction over there, bro.
Yes.
And that's going to be a long, I guarantee you, that Zoom meeting that you about to watch tonight is going to be way longer than any off-season workout Zoom meeting, bro. I can assure you.
Man, yeah, see, I just get exposed here.
I love it, Deke. The longer you talk, you just come right back to
Yep.
That's funny, man.
It doesn't make sense at all. Mm-hmm. Yet it does. People get what I'm saying. It's the OTAs, workouts resume, whereas draft. Little different.
In fact, I don't even want to watch it because I enjoy seeing the guys come across the stage with the raw emotion. I watched the WNBA. They did their draft through Zoom. And I hate the lag.
You actually watched it?
I did because they first did the tribute.
Is it a real draft? Or was it like a...
Dude, what? Is it a real draft? What type of disrespect is that, bro?
Because the NFL did their like trial runs. I mean, the WNBA actually had their draft.
It, bro. Did you ever see it? You saw an NFL trial run draft on TV?
No, I don't know when the
Cut
WNBA
it out, bro.
does their draft.
What the heck, bro? Golly. So literally just last week they did
it was the Oregon. It was the Oregon.
Yeah, but even before then, because they did a nice tribute to the families that died in a helicopter crash of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And they ended up drafting the 3 young ladies that ended up passing away in there. They were the honorary draft picks. So they did the big spill. The commissioner did. Then from there, they had the jerseys up, had one person from each of their families speak on Zoom about their daughters getting drafted and things like that.
Where have I been?
Dude, I don't know. You say you're a big sports guy. That was an icon because that was the first draft that was virtual. First major league sport draft that was virtual, bro. It's history.
When was this? I'm trying. It would have
been last week, man.
Last week,
yeah.
And I think I was working on that Big Ben doc, bro. That might have been it. I was locked in.
Yeah, and it was cool because we actually had one of the girls from JMU, one of the ladies that played on the JMU women's basketball team, got drafted. So I was like, that was dope to see her do that. Yeah, but for me, man, it was just when I watched it, you hear the commissioner, she's talking, and then she announces the pick, and then it's like, all right, she's standing there, kind of awkward moment. Then ESPN takes over, plays the highlights of the chick that's playing. And then they finally get the Zoom to connect with the chick they got drafted. Now you can see their reaction. But I just hate how it's like when you traditionally watch the draft, like on TV when everybody's there together, the pick is made. Everybody's going crazy. Person's walking out right now.
It's instant.
It's not this, all right, all right, now we back. Oh, and now we back here. And you could tell like when the commissioner's about to speak and she has to like wait because it's not like how we are right now in real person. So once you speak, it's gonna take time for all that to get to me for me to hear it. So literally, you'll talk. I
told you about Zoom. Dude.
You talk. I sit here.
Can't be trusted.
Well, even on ESPN, it's the same thing. You watch ESPN. That's what do you think they're using?
I don't know, man. It's going smooth on ESPN.
Not always, no, because I definitely watch. I watch it with Dan Orlovsky, Louis Riddick, and it was somebody else. And literally,
it's been smooth.
Literally, Louis would talk. You see, Louis would be done talking, and they're all kind of sitting there like, "Oh yeah," and we're like, "See, I hate that." Like I don't like that awkward, just
I see
2 to 3 second lag of that data getting back to them.
I think awkward's funny. That's my like. I embrace it.
I don't care about it like that. It's just like, yo, I don't like the 3 seconds of okay, you gotta wait for what you said to click in his ear so he can hear it and then he can talk, and it doesn't flow, and that's my thing, man.
We're just doing the best out here, man. We can.
Oh, nah, it's just we doing the best.
Yeah. But still, the Zoom thing, we're doing our best despite of Zoom. That's kind of what's going on.
You seem like a real Zoom supporter over here, man. You're watching you're buying all the Zoom products, but talking about I don't like Zoom.
What Zoom product? I don't have any Zoom products.
I'm just saying. You just said you're gonna watch the draft tonight. That's a Zoom product.
I'm buying it with my time.
Exactly. Huh? But I hate Zoom. I can't stand Zoom. But I'm gonna watch this Zoom draft tonight. I'm gonna watch this Zoom game over here. I'm gonna watch this Zoom workout. I'm gonna watch all this Zoom stuff. I can't stand Zoom though. Okay.
Well, Jeez. It is second fiddle to in person. That's all. That's funny, bro. We are doing our best we can with all this. Funny, but hey,
you are funny, bro.
Thanks, man. We got this all covered.
Yeah, man.
Longer podcast than we thought, huh?
Absolutely, man. Always with you. Always with you. But anywho, man, shout out to Kamaya Simmons too, man. That was the young lady that got drafted from JMU women's basketball team, man. It's dope. See that happen, man. Another JMU women's basketball player in the WNBA, man. We just keep stacking them year after year after year. That's what we do. So,
damn.
Yeah.
Pipeline down there.
Absolutely. And she was like a late pick. She was third round. Usually we got like top 5, top 7.
Wait, what?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely, bro.
I don't know about this at all.
It's cool, man. It's a lot you don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's cool. I'm not tripping, man.
Definitely.
I'm not tripping, bro. It's a lot that you're a little late on, man. But it's all good. So anywho, man.
I'm just doing my best too. I'm like Zoom.
Jeez. Zoom has been, hey man. Zoom is highly, highly productive right now, man, and highly profitable. They went from having 1 million users to 10 million users in a span of like a week.
Taking advantage of a bad situation.
Nah, they were already doing what they're doing. Now it's just people like you are starting to see, oh man, dang, I guess I could use that to check this out then, huh? Oh, okay, yeah. I want to watch this draft so bad. I probably should go to Zoom, huh? Okay.
It's going to be on ESPN. I don't got to go to Zoom.
Okay. And how you think it's going to be happening?
Huh?
How you think it's going to work on ESPN?
I guess Zoom. Thank you. Zoom.
So, with that being said, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in.
Until next time.
Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very, very special guest joining us on the podcast today. Now, this guy played center at the Ohio State from 1987 to 1990. He was an all Big Ten selection as a center there. He was also an academic all Big Ten person as well. And he had a stint with the Washington Redskins. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Dan Beatty. Dan, man, how are you doing today, baby?
Good. Thank you, Arthur. That's quite an introduction.
Hey, no doubt, man. I feel like it's always important that for the guys that have come before us, man, that have paved the way to be successful, man, that you give them their flowers while they can still smell them, man. So we appreciate you on that. Yes, indeed, man. So, man, just talking with you a little bit, man, we were doing our research. It's interesting, man, because you transitioned from football to the personal protective equipment industry, PPE. So just talk about your role in particular in that industry and ultimately how it's been affected by this whole COVID-19 situation.
Yeah, this is the first time that I think that anyone would talk about PPE, masks, gloves, all that kind of stuff on an interview, particularly involved with sports on a day that's the NFL draft. But the stories that are going on with this industry right now worldwide are really absolutely incredible. We have evidence of people going into these factories in China in the middle of the night with bags of money and bodyguards and just buying things out of warehouses. And it's really turned into the wild west. most of the time the industry is, very just like a train on its tracks, making stuff, sending it out. And with the virus situation right now, it's obviously turned our lives upside down, but particularly this industry.
Yeah, man, it's funny that you said that, and too, in terms of the PPE industry turning almost into the wild, wild west in terms of the resale market and how people are overcharging for some of these products. But I think it's important that the people who are making authentic products, the people that are doing these things the right way, that those are talked about a lot more, because there's been people out here giving out false information and ultimately giving out bad products and not helping these people.
Yeah, that's true. And it's an area that is a horrible area to knock something off. I mean, it's one thing, and I don't agree with people doing it, of knocking off a T-shirt or something like that. That's not going to, possibly cause somebody their life.
Correct.
You start giving out bad medical equipment to people, that's a whole other level. And so one of the things that has happened, unfortunately, America doesn't have the manufacturing capacity with this that it once had, or that it needs right now, quite frankly. And we're dependent on a lot of other countries for that, particularly China. And China has a reputation for producing a lot of knockoff products and a lot of things like that historically. And they also make a lot of great stuff. I'm talking on an Apple phone right now, which is made in China. So they do a great job too, but they also have this other side to them. And recently, I do have to give the Chinese government a little credit. This will be one of the few times that you hear that from me, but they really tightened things up in China. They've had, at the beginning of the month, they had a rule that was allowing companies in China that had their export paperwork and was registered with the FDA to sell things to America. The Chinese said, well, if you're not registered with the Chinese government to sell in China and meet their standards, you can't export. So that caused a big disruption in the marketplace, and because they've been receiving a lot of complaints from Europe and from other places about getting bad materials.
Yeah, the faulty.
Just
absolutely.
Yeah, and then so last on the 10th, the Chinese said, okay, what we're going to do now is we got this group now that we have all the paperwork, everything should be in order, but we now are going to have a full customs inspection before they export it. So before it actually goes out into the world, it's being inspected by the Chinese to make sure that the quality and workmanship is at a certain level. So that's caused a big disruption in the marketplace. It slowed things down, but I think in the long run, it's to everyone's benefit to make sure that true, authentic, products that can do what they're supposed to do are going to get out. Now, this is just for the PPE world. They've not done that for everything else.
Okay. Well, that's definitely good to hear. Now, based off of, like you said, China being the main place that everybody goes to get these PPE products, do you see a transition potentially growing from this, where America starts to create more of these products in the actual country?
I hope so. I hope that this whole virus situation and economically how we see we're linked with the world. I would prefer to see America in a stronger position. And I'd like to see us make more materials, not just PPE, but there are a number of other things that I think are very important. I've read reports, and I don't work in the area of pharmaceuticals, but a lot of our antibiotics and pharmaceuticals are being manufactured in China, and there's certain things that I think each country, for their own safety, needs to have a handle on. Energy is one of those deals. So now America's able to do that, particularly with the new shale boom. We're protected there, but some of these other areas, I would feel better if we were in a stronger position.
Absolutely. Now,
what?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, what's going to happen in the future? I have no idea. It could be, everything goes back to normal and everyone just takes a deep breath, and this just becomes remembered as, remember that one time when we were all locked up together? Or it may be a turning point for a lot of people and say, hey, you know what? We probably need to make some changes here, some fundamental changes. And so we'll see what happens.
Now, with all that being said, man, and obviously understanding the severity of this situation with this COVID-19 issue, just reiterate to the people that don't understand the importance of the PPE industry. Like, let these people know how important your work is right now. Okay.
Well, so PPE stands for personal protective equipment, and that includes masks, all the types of 3-ply medical disposable masks. There are two numbers that are becoming famous now: the N95 and the KN95.
And those are the white masks that we see everybody wearing right now, correct?
That's it. Yeah, they look like little cups.
Yes.
And the 3-ply ones that you'd see if you go to the dentist or something like that, it's flat and it attaches around your ears. And so those are the three types of masks that are traditionally used in the healthcare world. When the virus started coming into America, we make similar masks. The quality is the same for the construction industry as well, to keep out the particles in the air if they're sanding, drywall, or things like that, or dust. And so one of the first things the government did was they allowed those masks to be used in the healthcare setting. That they felt the testing was similar, and the reality is a lot of those masks are made in the same factories, and they are the same quality-wise. So that was the first step. But so you have masks, which are very important to try and help people that are in these healthcare facilities to try and stop the virus. You can breathe it or sneeze it or things like that. So you try and contain it in the masks, and you try and contain it from going out, and you also try and stop it from being inhaled as well. So that's the point of a mask. And then people like to use gloves. But I'm always reminded that you still have to wash your hands if you have gloves on, and wash your hands.
And the whole cross contamination. A lot of people you'll see with the gloves on, and they're still touching their phone, touching their face, things like that.
That's right. Yeah. It's still, it's not a total block for things. So we want people to be aware of that. Still, practice good hygiene even with gloves on. And then we have the gowns. People wearing gowns, the same thing. We want to try and isolate any virus that would be floating around or on something, so it gets on something else instead of into the person. Is really the mindset that it's protective gear. It's your it's your wall around you to try and protect you, to limit the chances of getting it. Obviously, nothing can stop it 100%, but we want to give people as many options as they can to keep it out of their bodies.
Now, what does your day-to-day look like right now? Is your workload just going crazy? How are you able to manage all this, and kind of what type of decisions are you making?
I hope I'm making good decisions. I've got, it's about a month now that I've been working 20-hour days. I don't even know what day it is anymore. And I'm up all during the daylight hours. I'm here in Ohio, and so in the daylight hours, I'm on the East Coast and work a regular day here, and then I get ready for what I call my night shift around 6:30, 7 at night to deal with all the factories and all of our representatives in Asia. So,
because the time difference.
China, Vietnam,
yes.
and so I deal with China, Vietnam, and India in the middle of the night.
Wow.
And try and grab a couple hours sleep and get up and function next day. And so it's funny you say that, because I didn't anticipate this lasting, this energy burst as long as it has. I figured a couple of weeks would be fine, and now it's into a long sprint. Every day is just phone calls, text, emails, people. We need help here. Now I am seeing some relief in different areas. I'm seeing people being able to source masks now that couldn't before, which is good news. And so things are coming in. One of the big things that I've been working on is a website. People can go and buy masks, buy FDA approved masks, and have them shipped directly to their house.
Oh, wow.
Because, that's the next big thing, is that people, we want to take care of our healthcare professionals, but now, a lot of states are enacting that you can start your business, but all your employees have to have masks. And if you have any, customers come in, they also need to be wearing masks. And so, where are people going to get them? They're not on the shelves anywhere. And so I've been trying to work with some different groups to put together a supply chain for masks for personal use. And one of the things is that I can do quickly is to set this website up. So we've been working with all the packing and shipping places to have it organized on that side. And so the last thing that needs to be taken in the next 4 or 5 days, it should be up and running. They're telling me it's not my area of expertise. I just tell guys what I want it to do, and thankfully they're good and they can make it. But we'll be able to sell these masks directly to individuals.
I like that.
Now I'm interested in people's stories and journeys. How did you end up in the industry you are now, from being at Ohio State and a decorated college football player?
Yeah, gotcha. So I've had an incredible journey in life. Been very fortunate and blessed with all sorts of wonderful opportunities and people around me that I'm very thankful for. And after I was done playing football, when I was with the Redskins, I said, if I ever made any money from this thing, I want to travel And so I did. I took some of the money that I had made, and I traveled to Australia and saw some things. Then following that, I went to law school and graduated from law school. Got married, and my ex-wife really enjoyed manufacturing. We set up some different companies, and one of the decisions was we want to make these products, and we tried to deal with American manufacturers, and we ended up going to China. And so this was almost 30 years ago. And so I've been doing business in China for, right after they opened things up for people to come in. And
wow.
We were fortunate to have some introductions that allowed us to meet people. And so started off importing what I call lotions and potions. So jewelry items, they were, lotions, bows, all kinds of things and like that. And so that was the beginning of my international trade, really. And from that, it's continued. I also own a construction company in Florida, and so my current company is an offshoot of that. For people come to me like, hey Dan, can you help me find this? Can you help me find that? And so we have really great people that do sourcing. I have representatives in all these countries that we go into the factories, we watch everything, we quality control, we make sure everything's in order. And so we're very involved. It's not just getting on the internet and finding someplace and like, okay, great, I'll buy it. People have done that. And unfortunately, a lot of times it doesn't work out for them, which I asked him, I said, well, would you do that to a company in America? Just no. I said, well, why would you do it with somebody halfway around the world? But that's another story. That's really how I got into the PPE was people in America saying, hey, Dan, can you supply this? Do you know anyone? And people that I know in Vietnam and China saying, hey, Dan, we're making these things. And, why don't you sell it and get into this market? And at first I didn't want to do it. And it really didn't happen until somebody in America said, Dan, we really need it. It's serious. And I just thought it was, morally the right thing to do. If I can try and help in some small way, let's do it. Let's ramp up and get out there and compete with people, and all those old football things come into play.
I like that.
Yeah, and so that's how we ended up, playing in this world. And when we got in there, we went for it, and we started meeting with the big manufacturers, with the different government groups and people that you need to, and have tried to put ourselves out there in a position that if we can help somebody, we will. And we have big mask orders that are coming into the country, and everyone that comes through makes me happy, because it's it's a lot of work to get it done. It's not just pressing a button. So
I like that, man.
So that's a little bit about my background, but I've had a very interesting ride. Let's say that in life, and have traveled and seen things and been involved with businesses and tremendous people, and it's a work in progress, obviously, because I'm not done yet, but that's where we are right now.
Man, and I think it's personally awesome too to hear you say some of those things in terms of talking about why you transition into this industry. It definitely has to be a very fulfilling thing, knowing that you're doing something to impact people in a positive way and help people out, man. And especially when you did it, it was a need, but it wasn't how it is right now. So the fact that you've been able to do it and just progress through this thing the way you've done it so far, man, that's truly awesome to see, man.
Yeah, well, it really is fulfilling on a lot of levels. So, when it's 3 a.m. and I'm up and I'm, talking to these guys or those guys, and it's when I'm like, hey, it's worth it. Let's do it. I picture people out there. If I'd made one more call, and maybe I could have either stopped the virus from going into somebody, or just helping them mentally, knowing they had some sort of defense against it. And so that's what I think about, when I'm run down and tired and angry with things or this or that. I just have to keep focused on really what's the goal here. What am I trying to do? And hopefully it's just a short time that we have to do this. I think we still have some ahead of us, but it's just not going to be a thing that's like this forever. At some point we will come out of this. When that is, I don't know. But until we do, I'm going to keep working away here.
I like it, man. And I feel like that all falls back to also what you said with your competitive drive from football. I mean, we know as athletes, it gets tough sometimes, man. You never really see the end of the tunnel per se, but hey, man, I got to keep my head down and keep working. And right. I could definitely see the parallel right now between those.
Yeah, it is. Football's, I always tell people, there are a lot of great life lessons that you learn from football. And one of those is when you're in that dark, tough place, working your way through it, that you can do it, and that when you've been knocked down, you can get back up. You got more in you. You can look yourself in the mirror in the eyes and say, "Hey, I got this. I can do this. I can do this." And that's one of the things. Teamwork. There are a lot of great things. We have a whole show talking about what sports does for people. But those characteristics and traits are definitely in evidence every day.
Now, you mentioned travel, obviously, to Australia after your stint with Washington. Has there been a most fulfilling experience you've had traveling, or one that was like either eye-opening or gave you a shift in perspective?
Yeah, every trip I take is eye-opening and teaches me something. And I've been fortunate that I've been to Japan and China, Hong Kong, throughout Europe, to Central America, and I really enjoy meeting people and seeing new cultures and seeing how things are done. I like the variety in life. I wouldn't want everyone to be the same. I think it'd be horrible. And I like the different perspectives. I like different food, different everything. Just to see it. Some I feel comfortable in for a long term. Some I wouldn't. But when you meet people, one of the things that I found out is that most of the people on the planet have, regardless of their religion or political background, most of them have the same 4 or 5 things that everyone else has. They want to have a family. They want to be respected. They're just trying to provide for themselves. Those are all common traits that you see time and again, even with different languages and different belief systems. So, that's always interesting. The first time I went to Japan, it was to play in the Japan Bowl, which was a great opportunity. And when I was there, I asked a Japanese industrialist, said, "Well, do you want to go see things? Do you want to do anything?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to go see Mount Fuji." And so he was surprised in all the years of hosting people for the Japan Bowl. I was the first one that asked to see something cultural like that.
Wow. That's dope. That is dope.
In other places, right?
What was it? Or no, go ahead.
Oh no! Well, and I had a driver, and he took me up on right across from Mount Fuji. There's a beautiful, I won't call it a mountain, but it's a big hill, and that's where one of the shoguns' forts used to be. And you look down the backside, and it looks like you're in Switzerland with a beautiful alpine lake behind it. And then you look the other direction, and there's Mount Fuji. And if you turn a little bit in the other direction, you see the Sea of Japan out there, and really a cool place. I had to hike through all this bamboo on a path that's been used for thousands of years to get to the top. And then when we were done, we stopped in a little fishing village, and I ate. And they hadn't had an American in that village since World War II.
Wow!
So I'm playing football then, and so I'm 300 pounds plus, and I sit down.
Big American guy.
Yeah, this is a big American. And so the whole kitchen staff was looking out the door at me to see who had ordered what was going on. So that was that was an interesting experience. But I've had so many firsts like that, and the first time I was in China, I was going from Hong Kong up to a city called Guangzhou. And Guangzhou's in southeastern China. It's kind of like their Chicago. It's a great big industrial place, and I don't know how many millions. And on the way, there was a little fishing village called Shenzhen. And Shenzhen now has a skyline that's 10 times that of New York City, and it's just absolutely incredible what's happened to this tiny little place overnight. But the first time I was there, it was a little sleepy fishing village, and I got off the train, and I'm looking around. I'm like, this is this great big Chinese city. I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? And so to see the growth, take place there, unfortunately, some of that growth has been at our expense in America. And, it'd be nice to see a healthy balance between the two, back to your earlier questions about us manufacturing things. I'm a firm believer in that. And I think some people that were probably big believers in, non-manufacturing economies being okay, can see how quickly that falls apart. So, that's where we are in a lot of places. I have offices in Florida, and that's a market that is really driven by people in the entertainment industry, food and construction. And so right now it's taking a heavy hit.
Mm. Now, transition a little bit back to your football playing days and things like that.
Yeah.
Man, so when you were at the Ohio State, I feel like I got to say the every time because,
yes.
I got to put respect on y'all. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah. It's all respect.
I'm gonna say, see, when you play football with an Ohio State guy, they're gonna let you know. So every day, man, Ryan Shazier and Cam Hayward, they would let it's the Ohio State. So with that being said, man, when you were at the Ohio State, you played with, man, some legendary guys that had very decorated college careers and also highly decorated NFL careers. Guys like Kirk Herbstreit, Joey Galloway, and Robert Smith, just to name a few. So when you were there, at any time did you know or have just the inkling that, man, this guy is going to go on to do something special? Did you ever have that feeling with those guys?
Oh yeah, you could see guys doing things in practice, and when you're around them, I mean, that's one of the greatest tells is when you're on a field competing with these guys day after day. Number one, they become closer, almost in your family.
Very true.
You go through years and you see everything, and you see how they operate, and you know they're good, you know they're bad, you know the whole deal of what they're about. And at Ohio State, for instance, Chris Carter was a teammate of mine, and you could tell what he was going to be. He would have days of practice where he would only catch with one hand. So all day running his routes, he would just work on catching with his right hand. The next time he just worked catching with his left hand. Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. He went the whole practice just catching the ball one-handed.
That's right.
Golly, that's crazy.
Was he catching everything? No drops?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow.
There's a great picture of him in the Cotton Bowl going up, and he's got two guys on each side, and his hand's way up in the air in one hand, and he snaps it with the one hand. Like, well, we saw that every day in practice. You do that all the time. He was a tremendous athlete. I think great route runner and really, really good hands and concentration.
Jeez. That's crazy.
But then you would have the same thing. Like Chris is working on himself, catching with one hand. Chris Spielman, unloads on him coming across the middle. in a non-contact, just supposed to be a two-hand tap. And so, things that happen. So you can tell the guys. I mean, when you see freakish ability, one of the things at Ohio State, and this is not particularly Ohio State, it's at that level. There are a lot of programs like that. I mean, the kids that are there are really exceptional in a lot of ways. And, from speed, from just freakish athletic ability. And you see it demonstrated all the time. See guys do things and you're like, well, what? That really just happened. Yeah. And then it just sort of becomes the norm. But when you step back and look at it, people don't realize how really fast things are. If you stood on the sidelines and watched
the speed is crazy.
And see these big linemen coming out, the speed and the defense coming up and meeting them. It's one thing when you watch it on TV and you think you understand what it is, but it's another thing to be standing there and see all this muscle come rolling at you. It's like a herd of wildebeest, right there. And it's that's one of the things that people can't appreciate. The speed of the game and the violence of the collisions on every play.
So you knew Herbstreit was going to be a TV star?
Kirk was always, in a way, yeah. Wow. He was always very well spoken. He loved sports. He was he studied the game and would talk about it. And he's one of those guys that would know all the guys on the baseball cards and know all the players and this and that. I love playing sports and I'll watch some, but I didn't, when I played, I didn't learn the names. I learned the numbers. I wanted to depersonalize everyone. You were just a number to me, and then I'd learn your traits and learn what's going on, because my job was to really try and hammer them. And so, that's fine. Number 92 does this. That's all I care about the guy, but Kirk was a guy that studied the whole surroundings. So I can see how he's worked.
That's interesting.
In his position. It really wasn't natural. You talk to me, he'd been every player at every team. I have friends ask me, oh, Dan, what about this guy? And I'm like, who's that? And they're like, oh, that's 57. He played again. Oh, him. Yeah, good guy. So I'm terrible at Trivial Pursuit with sports areas. I'm good with history and geography and sciences and all that kind of stuff. But the sports ones, I'm like, I don't know. They're like, oh, Dan, come on.
That is funny, man.
Yeah, so I like playing the sports. I just and I'll watch some college football now. And again, I watch my Buckeyes when they're on, and the rest of the time I'm pretty busy with work and trying to do all these things. I just realized today that the draft is tonight. I had friends send me a text. But,
shoot, man, a whole another wave of Ohio State guys getting ready to go in the league, man.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? What they've got going on.
I like it, man. I like it.
They're gonna have the top 3 tonight. We still count Joe.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I ain't even.
He's got his degree.
You're right.
Ohio State University on his wall.
Oh, I like it. Hey, man, they put the jersey on, man. You count them. Let's do it.
That's it.
I like that, man. Now, before we let you go, man, we ask all our guys that come on, man, to just share their welcome to the NFL moment, man. So just talk about that for us real quick, man, and then we'll go ahead from there.
Okay, so one of the first things that I remember was going through the physical in Washington, and my first big moment was going there. But one of the funny things that I remember that'd be different from everyone else's is when we were having our physicals, one of the doctors pulled me aside and said, "Hey, do you have high blood pressure?" And I'm like, "No." And he said, "Well, your numbers are terrible." I said, "No, they're not. I just had it done before I came here to Washington. My dad's a doctor, went through the whole thing. I've never had that problem." And he said, "Well, that's strange. You're like the 20th in a row to have that." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you." And then one of the older grizzled doctors came over and saw I was like, "Well, what's going on?" He said, "Oh, Dan's got this high blood pressure problem." And he's like, No, he doesn't. He said, "You can't use that regular cuff for people's arms. You have to use a leg cuff on these guys' arms because they're so big." And at that point, I realized, okay, we're in a different world with these players and what they can do. And
I like
so that was one of the things that just always it made me laugh. That they've got to use the leg cuffs, the bigger ones for their arms.
Damn.
I like that, and I will say that is a fact.
Different story than some of the other ones. No one's ever said that, so that's why I went with it.
No, that was interesting. Yeah.
But no, I was following up with Dan though. That is a fact, man. So I've done the football physicals, and then I've went to like regular doctor's offices, and yeah, same thing, man. They try to put the regular cuff on your arm at the doctor's office, and it's like,
and all the numbers.
Yeah, it's like, "Yo, are you okay? Like, what's going on?" And then somebody else is coming like, "No, you got to get the leg one, put it on them." Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. I like that though, man.
Yeah. Well, and that's I've always sort of chuckled about that with things, and not that there weren't big guys at Ohio State. I remember when I was a freshman there. Once again, a physical story. I'm standing in the hallway, and they've got us all lined up in the military, and I started off as a defensive lineman, and so I've got all the offensive tackles in front of me, and they were like 6'8", 6'9", 6'11", 6'8", just a row of these guys. And here I am, a 270 pound, I'm 6'4", 270 freshman, looking at these men. At that point, I'm like, so every day I got to kick their ass. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'll do it. I have no problem with that. I'll kick everyone's asses.
Oh, I like it.
You got to have that belief in yourself.
No question.
Because if you don't, no one else will have that for you.
No question, man. Hey, Dan, we definitely appreciate you taking time, man, to get on this call with us. And keep doing the awesome work that you're doing, man. Not only is it fulfilling to you, but man, you're helping this nation out and just protecting lives, man. So keep up the great work, man. Thanks again for the call.
Well, thank you. Nice talking to you too. Hope you have a great day, and take care.
All right, now.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Peace.
Okay. See you guys. Bye.